pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Barlow?
Here.
Mr. Pottle?
Here.
Mr. Lowe?
Here. Okay, first order of business tonight is we have our codification ordinance hearing that we have to have, so we're now going to open the meeting up for the codification hearing. Specifically, first off, we will ask if any public comments for codification, if anybody has public comments for codification hearing.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Mr. Boyle, for a hearing, it's supposed to be sworn testimony.
Right, do we have any sworn testimony?
I have two
Yeah,
things.
so all we need to do is speak.
Anyone who wants to speak at the codification hearing has to stand up and be sworn in.
Okay.
Everybody stand up and be sworn in.
Just in case.
Okay.
You gonna, not,
Yeah, just in case, Julie, you never know, you might want to
just in
say
case you want to
something.
say something.
Okay, do you swear or affirm that the testimony about to give in this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you to God?
I do.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
All right, hearing is now open to public comments on the codification.
So I have two things. I don't know if on the ordinance in the Article 3 of the regulations, Dave Martin and I looked through everything and thought everything was, pretty well done. The only thing we were asking, and I think he sent that to you guys so you have that, but let's see.
It's in the handout. Sorry, Joe. I just want to let them know it's in the handout. It's on page 2 to 3 of your handouts. It's an email from
Dave Martin from the fire company.
It's number 3.
It's the first one of the first few pages. It's after planning. It's number 3 at the top.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
So the only thing we were asking for, just to cover us a little bit better, if we're not sure what's in the ordinance, that you would put in, fire company line officers and command scene finds open burning in violation of the ordinance, and then we would like to put in there or dangerous conditions may order the operator to take corrective matters in case we're not exactly there's something there that isn't actually important, just to protect the line officers and then give us a little bit of leeway, because a lot of times everybody thinks the fire chief has a lot of powers, and really we don't.
Right.
Really the supervisors have it. Just like I used to be able to declare a burn ban in my fire territory, now I have to go through every township and get a burn ban. So, that was something that Dave and I was asking if you guys could do to cover us, give us a little bit more leeway.
That means that we would have to enact a law outside of the fire standard laws, does it not?
Pardon?
That means that we would have to enact some type of law, because that is, a dangerous condition is not a defined term that is enforceable.
Okay, well that's my question. I'm not a lawyer, and we were just trying to figure out, because there's some things, we can't read the regulations and have everything, know exactly that if it's covered or not. So that's what we were asking. If you can't, that's fine. That was just something we were looking at. Like I said, mostly you have in there about you can only burn, grass clippings, guardrails, tree trimmings, all that.
Right.
And mostly if there's a dangerous condition, there's other things that burn.
So how would you determine dangerous, because your definition of dangerous condition might be different than another fire chief's condition of dangerous condition.
That's true. I guess that it is true, but I mean, we try not to get out of hand with stuff, so. But if that's the case, you know, I mean, probably it's covered in there, but it was just, you know, because most things, if somebody's burning stuff, it isn't what you guys consider lawful. But you know, we were just, you know, looking at it. So,
May I ask?
yeah.
You use the term dangerous conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Give me an example of 2 or 3 dangerous conditions that aren't within what we have.
Well, that's what we were just talking about. I mean, Dave and I to see, because I mean, if you look at everything, I guess, you know, pretty much, you say it's lawful to burn grass clippings, garden residue, tree trimming, shrubbery, and vegetable matter, and then it should be lawful that you can burn cardboard, wood, and accessory with a screen there. So I mean, I guess it is. I guess it would be, covered in what we would have in.
Well, I think
Yeah.
all of us would agree with your judgment on
Yeah, well,
what
that's-
we have to do there. It's not designed to withhold any thing from you or
Oh, no,
doing your job.
It's, well, I mean, sometimes we go out and we're just, sometimes we give our, we say stuff that, really isn't quite, well, sometimes we thought it was legal. It's just like the old wives' tale that I was brought up in training said nobody could keep a fire company from getting water off the property because it was Pennsylvania water. Well, some years back, forestry had a guy that refused us water whenever they had a mountain fire. And they were gonna, charge him for this, and they went back and there isn't any such law in Pennsylvania. So I mean, and that's one reason, I said about you guys getting, I don't know if you had any takers or if you got that letter out about the,
Yeah, we got the letter out, yeah. We
And-
have not had a response back.
and, because, pretty much just to be safe, especially in the environment today, is we're not going to go on a property that we're not quite sure of. Well, we'll probably go, it's easier to ask forgiveness and ask permission sometimes on some of that stuff. But a lot of this stuff that people think that we have the power to do, it's an old wives' tale. It's not really true. For some of the stuff we're finding out, after I've been doing this for 46 years, that some of the stuff that we were told we could do, we really can't.
So to kind of
So, maybe that is all covered because what you have in there, if, you have what you can't burn, and if that's that case, it probably is covered.
What about B? It says all fires shall be attended to at all times by a responsible adult with readily available means of extinguishing the fire.
Mhm.
I would think that you're only gonna get called if that thing gets out of control. And so therefore, if it's out of control, obviously they don't have the means to extinguish it.
Well, here's what happens a lot of times.
I'm at 112-8B.
Here's what happens a lot of times on this stuff. It's called in by a neighbor, and it turns out, and Sheriff can probably attest to this, that it turns out that it's a neighbor dispute. A lot of times I get called, Paige, to check out a burn because the neighbors have a dispute with each other when we get the fire company in the middle of it. And sometimes I refuse to go without police, just.
Okay, but then once you get on the scene, okay, let's suppose you got a guy there, look, I burn in my backyard. I got probably a 10-foot area and I got a stream nearby and I get 4 or 5 buckets of water just in case, and I don't put it all there at once. I gradually feed it. So my neighbor, for whatever reason, calls and you guys come out and I say, look,
What-
why isn't this, why is this out of control? That I can extinguish this in 5 minutes, in
Oh, yeah.
30 seconds by just throwing
Well,
this water
A
on it.
lot of times, that's what happens. I mean, or they're burning plastics, and rubber, and just.
Well, then that,
And that's,
that would
but
be.
that is covered in there.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
I'm saying,
so I guess I'm just, like I said, I'm no lawyer. and-
but to me,
but-
that's the dangerous condition.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a fire that they
Well,
can't
yeah.
control. Whether it's the neighbor that calls, or if they call on their own,
Yeah.
then they can't control the fire.
Okay, well, that's fine. I mean.
What I'm trying to
uh,
say is I think you're covered. I
Okay.
think you're covered.
Yeah,
I think
well,
if
you know,
it's a
if you look
dangerous-
at it that way, we are, because anything that you have that isn't there,
Anything that can't be extinguished is a dangerous fire.
exactly.
Because, because it says, it's gotta be, there has to be a responsible adult with readily available means of extinguishing the
Yep.
fire. Now, maybe it would be, oh geez, I can't think of it sprays and stuff, you know what I'm talking about.
Fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher. Maybe they have thanks, chief. Maybe they'd have a fire extinguisher outside with them that will extinguish it real quick. Then if the neighbors call him just to be, because he doesn't like
Well,
his neighbor, then.
But that comes about, a lot of times they're burning stuff they shouldn't, and.
Well, if they're doing that, then I think.
And that's covered in
Yeah.
there, so that, like I said, being not, we're fire chiefs, so, probably then we were just looking for something to cover us if it wasn't, but really the way it's written, it's probably, it is covered in there, pretty much anything that we would go on that isn't permitted to be burned, we can do something about it. Because normally whenever there is a problem with you come up and sometimes you get some pretty adamant people that don't want their.
Well, you get some people that burn when it's 40 mile per hour winds
Yeah.
too, and that's crazy too. I don't get that.
But most time we end up calling the police to assist us, because that makes a big difference whenever they come on. I'm just, that answers my question. We should be okay. It was just trying to cover a little bit more. If it wasn't, but the way it's written, you kind of have everything taken care of that needs to be on that. So, sorry to waste your time on that deal.
Oh, no, that's fine, that's fine.
And then the only other one I saw about the signage for the sizes of numbers to 4-inch. So actually the 4-inch numbers will fit on our standard size as long as there's not over 3 numerals on it. We just have to get the bigger letters, but the big thing is we're going to have to find out, we're going to have to ask the people now if you live in Liberty Township
Well, and the question on that, Bill, is in 2015, UCC Section 501, they're the ones that put in place the 4-inch thing, and we adopted what they suggested. When we opted into UCC, we have to follow what UCC says. And that's why in our ordinance it's 4-inch, because it's exactly what the state requires.
Okay, well, the big problem is, and maybe it's that way with I don't know if it's that way every municipality, and that's our problem.
If they're following state code, it is. If they're not following state code,
Because
it's
you got, and I mean, I saw it in the paper, and that's how I picked it up. I try to look at the legal notices in the paper because I have 5 different municipalities that we deal with, so it's a little bit difficult to try to have. I wish we could get together and have all the same stuff that we can. It makes it easier to do.
We do too.
Yeah, yeah, I would say, that's why we adopted that back in 2015, is because that's when we, opted into the UCC, we had to follow what their guidelines were. And that's what it is.
But all,
So
it-
to
isn't
change
all,
that, you have to go back to state.
isn't all municipalities, aren't they all?
You have to ask those municipalities, because every municipality can follow their own.
I know,
If they're not already UCC.
everyone's different, I know.
Yeah, because some have opted in and some opted out. If they're opted out, they don't have to follow the UCC guidelines when it comes up. What happens is if you do something that's commercial, you have to go to Harrisburg to get your permits from the UCC. But since we opted in, it's done in-house. But they give us the guidelines to set our ordinances.
Okay. The only thing then I'll have to do, we'll have to get other letters, other bigger numbers, and we'll have to ask, where they're at to do that.
Is anybody even complying with the ordinance? Is anyone even complying with the ordinance? I know I've asked this question time and time again.
Nobody, well, okay. Nobody enforces the ordinance for signs.
Right.
And for me, it's pretty difficult, especially whenever you have areas. Now, if your mailbox is right in front of your house, that makes it, that's a little different.
Right.
But whenever your mailbox is 2 miles away from your house and you don't have a number on your house, then, that makes it hard for us because GPS around here don't work that great.
Oh, I know. And that's the problem. I think you're right. I think it's a problem. I think we've encouraged our residents to put up signs, but.
It's like everybody else, it's gonna happen to somebody else, not me.
Right.
And they don't feel it's important. Now at the municipal meetings, whenever we have a municipality come to the fire company, I'm always on about, getting the properties numbered.
Right.
Because if we can't find you, we can't help you.
Absolutely. I agree totally with that.
And, and that's the biggest thing that, I have a problem with, well, we have an ordinance, but we won't even enforce it. And that's the problem. I'd love to have a sign with 3-inch letters on every house, let alone with 4. And that's where I'm having an issue because it's an ordinance, but nobody enforces it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to enforce an ordinance. It's $600 fine.
Well, I know. And
for
that's,
someone not complying with the sign, but then you get to a place where, all right, so what are we doing? Are we dictating to people what they're going and not going to do or not do? Sometimes, like I said,
and that's,
ordinance is hard. We can send our zoning guy out there to every house in the township, and the process is you gotta give them a violation letter.
Yeah, I know.
That incurs a fee to the township. Then you have to give them a second violation letter, which incurs a fee to the township. Then you take it to the magistrate, and the magistrate goes, oh, we're gonna give you 120 days to come to compliance.
Yeah.
And so now you got all these legal fees, so we've already superseded the $600 ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And
I understand. It's just like I wish people would understand why we're doing it. It's for their good. And, it's not like whenever I started the fire service in 1975 in Artsville, most people, we knew almost everybody around. You knew everybody that lived in the area. Now you don't. We got, 45 square miles of territory we cover. And, there's places we found that we didn't even know was there. Just by bumping into, we didn't even know there was a house back there. So, we're trying to make sure everybody's safe and do what we can for the community for that. So,
like I said, I know in the last couple of letters we stuck up in the Hillsborough Journal, we did mention about the signs in our monthly letter to try to get people to do that. I don't even know if the board interested in sending out letters to every resident in the township.
but if you send out a newsletter, don't you send out a newsletter to everybody?
No, we only put it in the
email.
No, it's just in the Hillsborough Journal,
Oh, okay.
once a month.
We have a website
Okay.
that's about it, and very few people, I believe.
Yeah, we don't have the resources to do it.
Well, I realize, that's the problem, and especially, all the townships and boroughs, it's an ordinance, but nobody enforces it. And, I mean, and it's kind of hard for us, especially, if you have an area that doesn't have hardly any. I mean, we're always talking about Signer and Risk Trail area out there. And you drive by and half those houses don't have homes. And that's where they need them. I mean, because, like I said, if your mailbox is right in front of your house, it isn't too bad. But, if you're back a lane or something, there's several houses back a lane, you have no, it's, a fire is bad enough, but the worst part is a medical emergency. Those seconds can cost somebody their lives, not finding. And unfortunately now, most of our ambulance personnel, they aren't from Fairfield. They come in and they work for arms, so they're not from the area. So, and
They are definitely relying on GPS.
yeah, and sometimes, well, I know. That they call were done Boston's. The GPS actually took them up over Country Club and said there was a road that came down, and I think there is on the map. That road is connected from Country Club down to Petra Road down there.
There is.
There's a road that's supposed to be there. It's just, and I've fought with county for years because you have all this Shawnee stuff that there isn't a road there, but they're all listed. And one Lions Trail in Carroll Valley, the ambulance, it tells them to go up Lions Trail, and there ain't no road at all.
I know it's an ongoing problem, and it's one that we'll continue to address as far as the township level.
Okay.
As far as
Well,
trying to
that's
encourage
fine.
people to get their signs out, do you guys have any recommendation of what we want to do as far as enforcing it?
I'd like to sneak on that one.
Yeah.
Bill, Chief
Yeah.
Jacobs, does the fire department offer those signs in some capacity?
Yeah, every year we send out our solicitation, and it has that we have signs available. We sell them for $15, but now with the bigger letters and stuff, we'll have to charge them. Well, the sign for the big one, the real sign is this size. It's 2 feet long, and they're for $25. They're $325 to buy the signs, and then the letters. A set of letters are $55. But so we're going to have to probably raise our price a little bit more than that to do the signs. But as long as you have 4 numbers on, they'll fit on these signs, on these smaller signs.
Well, I'm sure you have kind of the parameters of signs and numbers and what you should or shouldn't have. And
Well, we just ask, that you can get the reflective signs. We make them. And then all our open houses that we have and stuff, which we're down to 1 now. Hopefully we'll be back. It's usually the second weekend of October. We usually have an open house. And we're always trying to sell signs. We always have somebody that's making signs up for, because we keep trying. We have a whole bunch of signs people said they wanted, and they never picked them up too. But no, we try that. I mean, that's one of my big things. I try to push, get an
Makes sense.
address on
That's
out,
good
especially
idea.
a reflective one. And what happens is the post office, I think, only requires you to have a number on the side that the post office, the way they deliver the mail.
Probably.
So a lot of times there's only a letter. Depending on which way the ambulance or fire truck's coming, there's not a number on that side. And then some of the stick-on numbers, they fall off, and then you can't get the right number of the house. So you're really trying to find where the house is. Or Sherry has that issue too at times. So, but so that's all I have. And The only thing that I guess, if that's the way it is, we'll have to get the signs and we'll have to ask the people what, what township they're in,
Right.
to go with that.
Right, and I would say you can check with the other townships. I mean, I have no clue what they've adopted, what they haven't adopted.
Well, I
But I know we follow the UCC, code, in which it's 4 inch.
Okay.
And that was 2015, so that was something that was done a while back, and it wasn't done.
Well,
recently.
that's, I know I've seen more new road signs that are bigger. I know I've seen some of them out and around, so they might be, getting changed over. I'll have
And
to
they're
check.
doing, and as you said too, they're all doing, all signs have to be reflective now. We have to have
Yeah.
reflectivity, and I forgot what it is, it's 5, I think it's 5. And so what we did last year, we ordered all new signs and went around and started taking all our old signs down and putting up all new reflective signs, because that's a state mandated by the NU, it's called the MUD, NUDD, code. It's a national standard code we have to follow.
Okay, well, we were running around trying to find, water sources too the other night, and, Jim Holler's brother down on, pumping station there, they actually made a road, they have a shed down there, we can get that Holler's pond now, so I put that in the database at the 911 center, so we have another one that we can get to.
Like I said, we did send out the letters, we haven't got a response back yet, and
Okay.
we encourage people. How many letters did we send out? We identified how many,
14,
14,
and then we
15,
also
how
had
many?
it in the paper.
and then we also put it in the.
Which went out, just.
So whenever you hear back or whatever, let me know and we can go look at them
Okay.
and figure out what you need to do. And like I said, I don't know if you thought or figured out about if we could get some, draft slate, fire company draft slate signs and put in some of these areas.
Right, I mean, those, we can have those made very quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
Gimbel's out of York, we'll make those up in a couple of days.
Because I know I got to call Randy Alexander and tell him he needs a weed whack around the camp. Tonight I went by and I couldn't see the dry hydrant there at Alexander's, and I want to put a sign there. It's like I said, a lot of times the fire, it's us in Emmitsburg are at the fire, and the other companies coming in are the ones that are going to draft slate, and they really don't know where some of these are. So. Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Appreciate that, thanks a lot. Do we have any more comments for the codification hearing?
Are we going to address Adams County planning comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, we have to, so if you had an opportunity, did you guys get your codification books? Wendy has before you, if you do not have it.
Do not. I've got all that at home that I looked over.
Okay, so Adams County, did respond back to our codification, proposal. I don't know if you had the opportunity to review, their comments, but there's some reason that the Office of Planning and Development is comfortable with the proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance. We further are comfortable with these amendments being incorporated into the ordinance through the Township ordinance codification process. That was their summary of everything. Now the one I'm looking at is number 3. And it's talking about, the section 609, the Pennsylvania Municipal Code. The comprehensive plan.
Yes.
Correct. The general comments, they recognize the proposed amendments are incorporated into the Township codification. We are comfortable with these approaches, provided that the amendment adoption requirements of the Municipal County Planning Code regarding amendments to the zoning ordinance are achieved, which they are. General comments, we recognize that most of the proposed comments to the zoning ordinance involve either updates or cross-reference to the law, statutes, updates of various administrative processes to the ordinance, and to clean up the ordinance language. We are comfortable with these amendments as presented. The other thing, on the first letter they have, the forestry one, they recognize the proposed amendment, including the additional forestry as a permitted use in the ROC in the IC district. We support the additions, acknowledging that the municipality planning code requires that forestry is listed as a permitted use in all zoning districts. In addition to the proposed additions, we recommend that the permitted use list of forestry in the R district be present using the format as proposed. Currently, there is no cross-reference to forestry standards, section 350-301G in the forestry use list of R districts. That's the one.
Yeah, that's for the zoning portion.
Yes, that's
So
for the
my
zoning.
question, I have to say, I am allowed with this comment. Is this something that's an easy change, or is this something that would require re-advertising? Is this something that we should change? Mr. Lisco, do you have an opinion on
You
that?
talking about the forestry?
The forestry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, it would, we can't do it tonight.
Okay,
You'd have to re-advertise.
so it's something that we could just consider for later.
I would say a year from now, whenever you have other zoning changes,
Okay,
just make that change at that
Okay,
time.
so we'll make a
Add
note
forestry in the R
to
district.
add that for a future update.
Yes. yes.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
The second one is, it's a subdivision land development ordinance amendment to the codification. To recognize that the proposed amendments are incorporated into the township codification process, we are comfortable with the approach, provided that the amendment adoption requirements of the municipality planning code regarding amendments to subdivision and land development ordinance are achieved. General comments. We recognize that the most proposed amendments to the subdivision and land development ordinance involves either updates to the cross-references or the law, statutes, or updates to various administration processes of the ordinance. For example, the engineering fees in the process. We are also comfortable with these amendments as presented. Lot additions. C. We note that the amendment to section 202-308 involving the lot additions gives the issue that the township has recently faced with regard to approving lot additions not being implemented properly. We strongly support the proposed amendment to these sections requiring draft deed language for the enlarged properties resulting from the additional lots, and requiring the removal of separating description tracts within the enlarged property will help the township to ensure that the resulting properties conform to the intent of the township's lot addition approvals. We note that the variety of other Adams County municipalities have already incorporated similar language in the subdivision and land development plans. The above statement we recommend considered a minor addition to the proposed language to ensure that the township receives confirmation that the deeds on an enlarged property and properly recorded. For purpose proposed in section 275-308G, we suggest that the first sentence be revised to read as follows: a copy of the recorded deed for the enlarged property shall be recorded within 90 days of approval of the lot addition plans, and a copy of the recorded deed shall be provided to the township upon recording. We offer in addition one technical amendment construction comment for section N and O of the amendment document, and the ordinance section referred to should read section 275-202 and section 275-308 respectively. With the minor adjustment, we strongly recommend the amendment to the adoptions as part of this codification.
So, Mr. Lisco, those comments
Ooh.
that.
Yeah, I think my comments are the same as with the zoning.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what this N and O.
Maybe I typed it wrong, or, yeah, I don't know. They said it was a technical amendment.
Yeah, I mean, a technical one is something we could change now, but I couldn't
That would
find.
be, N and O is on the Schedule A part of the ordinance. Is he talking about the ordinance itself?
See, that's what I don't.
Do you
I'm not
have the
sure.
ordinance? So what section was that?
Oh.
Section 275,
302.
202.
Yeah, 275-202 and 275-308. respectively.
275, 202, then it says 275 to,
275, 202.
this part?
Yeah, I don't,
Why? 275 to 409, he says. Oh. So you think that, need to follow, you want to go ahead and?
yeah, I couldn't figure out what they were talking about there. I mean, you know, if it's neat, again, maybe it's something when we get around to revising it, we can
Okay.
make those changes.
Understood, so it's, we'll put it on the list for updates for later,
Yes.
Yeah.
future update, okay. Consider for future update, fine.
Thank you.
And then I would just, note that, oh, she left, the planning commission did issue, they had a meeting and they issued a memo of their recommendation, but I didn't print it, I received it today. Judy, in the memo from the planning commission, there wasn't anything different than what, Adams County has to.
No, that's correct. But
Correct.
We recommended that the Adams County.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the planning commission supported the Adams County comments and offered no additional comments.
That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
The planning commission recommendation was supposed to have a statement as to whether or not the proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance are in accordance with the
It's
comprehensive.
all of that in the memo.
Okay.
I just didn't bring, I just
Okay,
received
all
it
right.
this afternoon and I didn't.
All right,
print it.
fine.
I will attach that to the file for this hearing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, again, I'm just. Yeah, okay.
Yes, that's exactly how it's
Do
stated.
we have any
Okay, all
more
right.
comments
Just
on?
that we did send it to Washington Township and they,
Yeah. Washington Township does not have any comments regarding our zoning ordinance changes or additions or complications. So,
I would
do
just
we have any
follow,
more comments on that? I'm gonna make a motion that we,
I would just follow the list, go, do we need to do anything else?
yeah,
No, we need to get out of, we need to adjourn the hearing and go back to the regular meeting before we take action to vote on it. though.
okay. All right,
So
so
what's the time then?
6:38.
Okay? We'll go ahead and do the hearing.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn the convocation hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we'll get on to new, order of business, public comments, any public comments?
Well, but now you have to vote on the convocation.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
right there, right
You-
there.
Now you have to vote
All
on
right,
that.
so I'll make a motion that we accept the convocation and the amendments that were presented, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, it's passed. So we can move on to other business?
There you go.
Yes.
All right, public comments? Going once, going twice, all right, see about the comments.
It's frigid in here.
And see about the other comments.
I don't. I have none here this evening.
I don't have any comments. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, does everyone have an opportunity to review the May 3rd, 2022 meeting minutes?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded that?
BL,
Brandon.
Oh, I'll
you
second.
second,
All
thank
in
you.
favor? Aye, thank you. All right, the May 10th, 2022 road bid meeting. I'll make a motion that we accept those minutes.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'll make a motion for our May 19th, 2022 subdivision land addition meeting. I'll make a motion to accept those minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor? You can't, because you weren't here.
Yes, right, just abstain.
You can abstain.
Abstain.
Okay. All right, treasurer's report.
We voted and you two said yes, right?
Yes. Treasurer's report.
Yep.
Does everybody have an opportunity to review the treasurer's report? If so, do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, invoices, for expenses on 5/4/22 to 6/7/22 retroactive. Did everyone have an opportunity to review the invoices?
Yep.
Do I have a motion to accept the invoices and approve?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Payroll.
Vote, you vote,
What's that?
you vote,
We did vote.
okay.
Did we vote?
Aye.
All in favor, aye. All right, payroll. For 4/24/22 to 5/7/22 retroactive, I'll make a motion that we approve our payroll.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, payroll for 5/8 to 5/21. Bobby, you make a motion for that?
I will, so moved.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Hey.
And I apologize, I made Bobby do Brandon's payroll today.
It's okay.
Apologize to Brandon.
All right, payroll for 5/22 to 6/04. Have a motion for, to pay for the payroll, to approve the payroll. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Police Department's report.
May 2022, we worked 363 and a half hours, put 2,066 miles on the cars, we used 156.8 gallons of gas. Officer Rusin had 2 DUI arrests. We answered 17 911 calls. PSP answered 3 calls out here. In Liberty Township, we wrote 48 traffic citations, 9 written warnings, and 3 faulty equipment cards. In Freedom Township, we worked 25 hours, we wrote 38 traffic citations, answered 2 911 calls, wrote 13 warnings. In Highland Township, we worked 25 hours, answered 3 911 calls, wrote 27 traffic citations, and 10 written warnings. Let's see, anything else to note? We did have the warranty work done on car 2, also the oil change, inspection, and tire rotation on car 2. It's going back in the shop Friday, actually probably take it in tomorrow, because a warning light came on for powertrain, something or another in it over the weekend, so I have an appointment to have that checked.
Is that under warranty, you think?
Oh, the transmission has a 5-year warranty on it, if it's the transmission,
Okay.
so I'm hoping. I'm actually hoping there's really nothing wrong with it, but,
Me too.
you know. In accordance with our police policy manual, body cam videos are 60 days old. Were purged. I did attend a mandatory JNET conference in Hershey. And coming up from June 20th to July 4th, we'll be participating in Pennsylvania's roving DUI patrols. That's some of the money that we get from the state to go out and do those, so. That would be it.
Anyone have any questions for the chief?
No.
All right, no questions for the chief. We're going to move on to the zoning and sewage enforcement. Zoning permits, let's see here. We have one 20/40 whole building permit was issued. One modular home permit on Ducks Mountain was issued. Replacing metal roof and new dormers up on top of the road was a permit. Jesus Mary Joseph, the removal of a trailer, I believe that's a trailer. Permit for that. The roof replacement permit, and then we had Four Seasons Road on the Knox residence on Track Road. A permit, and the Murphys, they put a permit in for a swimming pool. And then we had a well permit for $50, and that gives us a total of $750 that came in from the zoning permits in the township for the month of May. Okay, the ongoing issues that we have over on 2650 Bullfrog Road, there's ongoing zoning violations. Is that the bed box one?
Which is which? Is 3257, Sherry, do you remember which one?
Yeah, I think
The
the
trash.
bed box is 2650.
Yeah, the 30, whatever is, Mr. McMaster.
Okay.
So I saw a truck in there today, when I was out checking roads. I saw a vehicle pull in there and they were back behind the building. So, Bobby apparently reached out to
The excavation company, they're supposed to, he made a commitment, everybody's got reasons or maybe excuses, but I hope they're all reasons, and he said he hoped to have it down by the end of this month and cleaned up, no later than early July, after the 4th sometime, so. But he's probably gonna stay on, because I'm gonna stay on him.
right, because right now they've exhausted.
Well, and the owner was the holdup on the whole deal. He was ready to move in and take care of it, but the owner wanted to try to save this, try to save that, do this, do that, and it's been a rough road for him, and I understand, and you know what the situation is, Ricky, so.
Did she get her demolition permit?
Yeah, she did, through the county.
No, she didn't.
No,
She never got it.
Oh, really?
Right, that's what we were waiting for. She didn't get her demo.
Well, I was told she did, so I
She
was
received-
She's supposed to. She never did.
That, the last time I talked to PMC.
I'll make a phone call tomorrow on that.
They just need to follow up with PMC and get the permit.
Yeah, I'll make a phone call.
Thank you.
And that goes through PMAC.
Yes.
PMAC.
Okay, the next one is 3257 Bullfrog, that's at McMaster's. I talked to Clem about this earlier this month, the end of last month, middle of last month, whatever. He took it back to the magistrate's office. The magistrate's office gave the man another 120-day extension. And he said it's pretty much, they can't do anything to enforce anything else because the magistrate's not taking action. So, we're looking at you taking action.
Okay, well, come on.
If something happens there, is some of our concern, because there's kids there, who's liable for this? Landowner, or, so we kind of started something here with trying to get it cleaned up, and now that there's been.
Well, the landowner would be primarily responsible.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
what-
I guess they could try to sue us and say we're responsible, but that's, I mean, we have the Governmental Immunity Act, which probably would provide protection for us.
Plus, this is an ongoing thing for probably a year.
Oh, a couple
Or,
of years.
yeah, several
Well,
years.
like 2
Several
years.
years.
Or
Or
years.
even more.
And as Glenn said, his hands are tied because the magistrate office just continues to give him continuances or gives him extra another 120 days. And
Well,
he said the next level was to talk to you about taking it to Dallas County to get the judgment.
well, not a judgment, well, we'd have to have a court hearing, you know, we'd have to file a complaint, have the sheriff serve it on them, and hopefully the judge will take some action requiring him, either he cleans it up within a certain amount of time, but that's not happening, so
Right.
we might wanna get authority to go on the property and we clean it up. I think we're primarily concerned with the exterior of the property.
Oh, I don't know, the interior is terrible. It's not livable. I mean, it's
Well,
already.
but he's not, but that's really not a danger to
Not
anyone, is it?
No, not unless somebody would go inside of it, like kids or something like that.
It's pretty secluded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, but you're talking about,
but yeah,
you're
they
talking
are.
about a lot of legal fees to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Because once you go into court, it's not like the district justice level. And the chief can tell you in criminal cases, it's a lot more complicated and more time consuming once you get into court.
So I told Clem that I would mention it to you tonight, because he said his hands are tied, he can't do nothing else.
Yeah.
He's done taking as far as he can take it, and nothing's been done.
Well, that's the next option, but you're probably looking at, who knows how much, it depends if this guy fights it, you're probably looking at $3,000 to $10,000 in legal fees, you know? But if he contested and if we have to have a trial, you know, it's a lot,
But
it's a
some of
lot.
the options, if we went that, if that's where you made us go, then we had the option to put, the lien on the property.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be for the attorney fees, the lien would just be for the cost, our cost to clean it up. We could file a municipal lien.
Yeah, but we, the attorney fees.
Yeah, that's all the lien would be for.
Hmm.
I mean, Washington Township did this, and I can say the name because it's off court record. Billy, ever hear of a guy named Billy Nicholas up on the mountain?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we know him.
Okay.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Well, Washington Township did it against Billy Nicholas, and they got a judgment against him. Fortunately, some of his property went up for tax sale, and we ended up getting, I don't know what it was, $12,000, because it was, the only thing that was owed on some of his property was the back taxes, and it sold for $50,000, and the back taxes were about $6,000. We had a judgment for 12, so we got paid, but we lucked out there. I don't know if that would happen here, but you know, they went up there at least 2 times. They went up there with Conservate.
Yeah.
They went up there with Conservate. We got a court order. Conservate went up and took all his junk out of there, and but it ended up being, there were a lot of legal fees in that. Again, it can be done. It's time consuming and it's expensive. So, and I think Billy's property is squared away now. I haven't been up there in a while.
I think
no one's.
didn't it burn not too long ago?
I don't know.
Oh, that's right. There was a fire up there.
Yeah, it burned not too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now he's not even living there.
Oh, he might have set it on fire. Who knows? But I know there was a lot of junk up there
Yeah.
that we cleaned up more than once. I remember there was an old trailer up there. We cleaned that out. Just all kinds of equipment, tires, you name it. It was there.
He said he has, about 14 more violations to serve on.
On this guy,
Yes.
McMaster's, yeah. So it's up to you. I'm just giving you a forewarning that it's not gonna be cheap to do it.
Okay, well, I think something we need to probably think about and maybe address it again next month, or
Well, we can
next
see
week.
where it is next month, you know? Might change like the weather.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a lot of money shot just to go out to. You know what I mean?
Well, unfortunately, we can't, if we don't follow through on one, we can't follow through on none.
Exactly right.
Because we have another property, which I mentioned to Wendy tonight, that we have addressed a couple of times, and has fell through the cracks. And we had a resident today came up and stopped me and said, listen, that place is not only is a nice one, it's dangerous to the people on this road. And he goes, you guys need to do something. And I was like, okay.
well, let me just ask, so when Clem went to the hearing, did he just go by himself?
I don't know.
No.
What's that?
See, because when Clem went to
Did
the
he not call
hearing,
you to talk to you about this?
I haven't talked to Clem in a while.
Yeah.
I'd say at least a month. I'm just saying that if Clem went to the hearing, and maybe if some of the neighbors went as witnesses, who have these kids, who are concerned about these kids.
The woman who made the complaint wanted to remain anonymous.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't think they want, I mean, they would like to have it cleaned up, and whatnot, but I don't think that they wanna get involved.
No, they don't want him knowing.
Yeah.
Well, see, then that kind of hurts
Right.
us, because if the DJ thinks that we're just being the bad guy,
Right.
going after him, and because he's in violation, whereas if it's neighbors who are concerned about the kids and are willing to go testify.
I mean, we have a written complaint from her with her name and her long complaint.
Well, when you said she wants to remain anonymous.
Well, I mean, the judge can see the complaint without announcing her name, why can't he? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but see,
Yeah, but he has to have
I don't-
testimony, he's
Oh,
have
right.
that.
Yeah, you need her to come in, and I wouldn't want to show that to the judge without her permission,
Of course not.
because I don't want this guy doing anything against her.
Right.
You know, and her getting upset with us. But if she really wants the property cleaned up, it would help, if she's willing to come into court to the DJ and say, you know, explain to him what's going on.
Right, so would that be up to Clem, since he's been working with her on the complaint, to ask her about that, or would it be the
Yeah.
township? So
Yeah, if Clem.
it should just be a
if she's-
suggestion for Clem to ask her if she would like to go to court.
Yeah, if there's gonna be
If
another.
they do
hearing.
another hearing. Okay.
Good. All right,
And
well,
maybe even one of the supervisors, if they're willing to go and testify. So I guess you can testify that you're concerned about the kids and
I'll go.
stuff like that.
I've been out there many times. It's my second home. He's actually getting ready to move into the guy.
I mean, the
First
DJ,
seat done, move them.
you know, he is an elected official, I mean, so, I don't know, whether every 6 years do they have to run?
Yes.
So it might help if you can just have more people there to testify.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll talk to Clem again this week, and he may reach out to me too. We'll see what happens with that. All right, we'll move on to the Brent Road, that's an ongoing, thing that the DEP is handling, and, so,
They've extended it to August 30th. The DEP has given them till August 30th.
yeah, should do that soon. We don't have to really do anything with that there. We have a letter, from them stating that fact, that they have to have that cleaned up and restored by the 30th of August. SDO report for Harbor Valley Road and also 51 Staley Road. He went out and they did their review, and you have a letter, it's 9B, D. I don't know if you had a chance to review the letter for the Apostolic Church. They had conducted a site visit on May the 18th and was given an overall site plan, which is for the townships, and the plan shows location of septic tanks and drainage areas, which is what he went out to do, and then also Operation Second Chance. He did a site visit on May the 24th. He was given an overall site plans and was trying to obtain a copy for the township. And I did talk to the caretaker about this today. He said they were trying to get maps and everything together and to place all of the septic tanks and everything on that map and get it to the township. So that's where we are on that. Six Summer Trail. That's the next thing we have on here, right?
Yes. Did I not include the letter from Sherrar in your packet? I
Letter
just
from
got
who?
it yesterday.
The letter from who?
The developer, is it Sheriff? I never say his name right. Mr. Lisco, what's his name? The developer, Sheriff.
Shara, I'm not, that's good enough. I thought, Wendy, I saw, is this on,
This is the next item, I don't have it in my own packet, I emailed it to you, but I think it was after I put the packet together, he sent it, so. I don't particularly have it, they were asking for the, reapproval of the plan.
Yeah, the plan was, they had, the plan was back in what, 2000, let's see, it's a
Yeah, I don't see it either, did I not include it, there were handouts, and I said it in my separate email.
well, I do remember seeing
Yeah.
the old plan.
Yes.
Okay, so that was there. I don't remember if there was there were a couple pages with it.
No, but Sherrard just yesterday sent out a new plan to me, and he has put the new owners on it, because they will need.
No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Can you hold for 1 second while I go to that, just hold
This
this.
is a plan that was approved in 1986.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
hold
that's right. And it's the, I had the plan here, and they're showing that
86, I think.
It was never recorded.
it was never recorded. Now they just want to make sure that they record it properly and it's still the same, and that no changes have taken place to this plan.
And Wendy said that there's a new plan with the current owners on it, and I didn't see that. I don't think she sent that to us.
I got it yesterday, I think.
Oh,
No?
well, maybe you did, and I just missed it. And I was away for a while, when I came back, I had a bunch of emails, so I might have missed it.
You can see it.
When you couldn't find minutes of 2008 planning commission meeting, and I wasn't on the commission at that time. I don't remember if any conditions or what, but.
Well, I think all she's looking for us is to reapprove the plan.
Yeah, my question is the exact same plan.
And that's what we have to make sure that as long as, and I think what we should probably do maybe is do a conditional, we'll approve the plans as a conditional as long as they match the original plan.
That's fine with
And
me.
the county should, from Thales Group, they should review it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. So if you would get a conditional base that, so county will take Sherrard's plan and make sure it matches the original that was approved in
Right.
2000,
Right.
was it 2008? And he will confirm that. So the condition would be that county confirms with their records that that is not any different from the original plan that was approved.
Yeah.
Plus, it will have to have Carroll Valley sign off on it because it's a cross municipal plan.
Right.
And I'm waiting for Carroll Valley to get back to me. They said they're just gonna consider it a lot addition.
So is that the motion that you
Yeah,
conditionally
yeah,
approve
yeah.
it based on county approving?
Yeah, and we'll make a mention, the Adams County Office of Planning and Development. Okay.
What about, and if there are no ordinance changes in ordinance that would apply?
I don't think that, and you're just approving it to the ordinance that was approved with in the first place. We're not.
Then we should say that, in case there were any changes in the ordinance.
Yeah, but all it is it's just, what happened is their lot wouldn't perk. So they just got a small area from the neighbor where the lot perks.
Well, actually,
And
it's a driveway issue. They couldn't.
Oh, was
connect
it a
to the
driveway?
road.
I
They
thought-
didn't have access,
Oh,
property
okay,
access.
I'm sorry
It
then.
was a property access.
So it's just a lot addition. It's not,
Okay.
it's not a, and they wanna make it all one track. They-
Judy, excuse me for interrupting. Judy, I understand what you're saying, but Thaler was gonna sign that plan on the date that they approved it back then.
Okay.
So that will show that it only was for those ordinances. So does that?
Yeah, but like, if they're putting a new driveway and we have a new driveway ordinance.
They haven't done any of that yet. We're not, yes, they'll have to, when they apply for permits now,
Okay,
then all that will go
that.
We're just reapproving the plan we already approved for the ordinances that were in existence at the time of that plan.
Okay, but then if they go to build the driveway.
Then they have to, it's whatever we're doing now, because that'll be a new permit,
Alright.
so that won't be affected.
Okay.
So exactly your conditions.
All right, are we ready?
Go ahead.
Right, I'll make a motion that the Adams County Office of Planning and Development will review the new plans and verify that they have not deviated the plans from any, since the review of 2008. And, that would be the acceptable review, so approval. That's the motion, do I have a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. You know, I don't see that on my agenda.
It's
It's
right
down
here
under
under planning
planning.
commission.
You skipped it, you skipped
Skip
it.
the road department.
Oh, yeah, I did. Sorry. Very department.
I guess they didn't have a report this month.
I didn't have anything reported.
Roadmaster couldn't make it tonight.
Road department. All right, road department here, we had, we drove 1,244.9 miles for the month of May. And I can break it down per truck if you would like, but that's what we drove. And let's see here, we used, for unleaded, I thought I had that up, I did it 23, 40, 90 gallons of gas. 55 gallons, 57 gallons of diesel, and 57 gallons of off-road diesel. That's what we use for that. The guys worked for 2 weeks in Hamilton Bend, doing ditching work for Hamilton Bend, which was our municipal agreement. I believe they reported 106 hours,
That sounds right, yes.
106 man hours with him and the band, so, at some point in time, when we get together with him and the band, we will also, have them working over here with us and doing some work and, doing ditching in our township. A couple of other things we've got going on right now is we started the bridge, preparation on Old Waynesboro, is clearing, the sides of the bridges out today. We did order, the quick epoxy, sealant to try to work under the bridge, to seal that, so we're gonna probably try to attempt that in the next week or so, to see how that works. It dries very quickly, so we can only do it a little bit at a time. 15 minutes, that's all you got to apply epoxy. Wow. So, anyhow, I met with New Enterprise, we're talking with New Enterprise. New Enterprise is coming on Friday to do the base repair on, McLaughlin, the upper part of McLaughlin, and they're gonna be coming on Monday the 13th to Blacktop, the whole entire road from Water Street all the way to the township line of Freedom. They're gonna do that. Hopefully, they plan on getting that all done in one day. We'll see how that goes. So, McLaughlin on Friday will be shut down, to through traffic, on the upper part. And then on Monday, it'll be shut down the entire length of the road, to only, traffic, that lives on that road for access. Hopefully we'll get that done and, that'll be a good job for us. We did also, get our report back from the LTAP, from the state, addressing Water Street and the Water Street intersection. The state has, LTAP has recommended that a couple of different things that we could do to, well, not us, they're saying that the state would have to take, measures on this, but they're recommending that they got a three-way stop. I don't know if the state's gonna do that or not, but I said, no, okay, whatever, that's their recommendation, because of the site distance coming up, at that, the mansion house there, coming east, you can't see around the corner if you were turning, so they did cite that that was a safety issue, but it's not on our road, it's on the state side, so we don't have to do anything to address it for us. Over on, Bullfrog and, Stoops Road, they did their assessment there too, site distance was good. What they got was for Stoops looking left, it was 200, minimum distance is 217, we had an actual distance of 400 feet, so we were well past, a good sight line. Stoops Road looking right, it was 245 feet distance, we had 232. Now, that was with the tree that was in place, the big bush that was in place there, we had 232 feet, even with the bush there. And then, on the, I don't know what that means, on Bullfrog itself, turning left, is 245 feet, turning onto Stoops Road, there was 400 feet sight distance in both directions to be able to see there. So there's no problem with sight distance there at all. Only recommendation has that if the landowner was willing, that we could take out that bush, and myself and Richie on Monday went over and cut the bush down. So, and also the landowner helped, and I think Wendy has pictures to verify to show that we really have to make bush down. There's no sight distance problem at all. So that has been addressed by the township and by the state. We appreciate the state's help with getting that survey done for us, as requested by one of our residents in the township. Another thing that we did too is we had the state, we petitioned the state for signage out on 16 in Worcester Road. The state has granted permission for us to install no trucks on Worcester Road signs on the lane on Route 16, east and westbound side, 30 feet back from the intersection. So I called in one call yesterday, to place those signs. Thursday, I'm going to get the street signs, and we have the other signs in place. So we will hopefully have them up by the end of the week or the beginning of next week, with the new trucks signs along 116 to let the truckers know they can't turn.
16.
16.
Is this one
60, I'm sorry, 60. Route 16 in Bushwick. They're in Harrington's. Yeah, right there. So Bruce is starting back mowing again. He started Tuesday, and he mowed today. He started yesterday, and today he's going to be back tomorrow mowing. Probably actually is going to be here most of the week trying to get all the mowing done. Like I said, he's going over to the Blackman tomorrow because we don't want them to blacktop over top of grass. It's that high. We're going to do that, and so we're going to have to. What we're going to end up doing with McLaughlin as far as our ditching work is we're going to have to do that after the blacktop is done. As I said to Ray today, I did talk to him and Ben. We'll probably be using them on some of our other roads. I don't think I want to use the grader on a brand new blacktop road because I don't want to take a chance to get we have a mishap and get the road torn up. So we're not. It's $180,000. I think that's going to cost us to have that road done. So we're not going to take that chance. I think that's about all we got from. We got our backhoe back yesterday. It was delivered back to us. Thank Bobby for setting up the transportation for that. He got that arranged through Jim Hodge. They got that over and got it back for about $400 cheaper than anyone else gave us a price for it. So we thank Jimmy for doing that for us also. The backhoe, after they got it over, had a lot of issues, a lot more issues than we anticipated. But they got all new pins in the front and back buckets. They had to cut the pins out, and they put all new research and everything in there. They changed the transmission and fluids and filters. They changed the drive gear box fluids that hadn't been done in quite a long time. They also found that in the engine compartment, the radiator and air conditioner coil had been somehow or another displaced, and the fan shrouding was starting to rub against those, so they had to reset those and had to order parts to get that done. So anyhow, I don't want to know what that bill's going to be.
I was gonna ask.
Well, I don't know what that bill's going to be. I prepared my heart.
Well, it's been let go a long time.
We let go a long
Many
time.
years.
Yeah, so anyhow, we have the backhoe back. Hopefully it'll last us for a long time because I know we're going to have a lot of money put in the back there. Other than that, that's about all I have for the road department.
Hopefully it won't be the backhoe from hell.
I hope not.
Like the police car from now.
Like our police car, it's turned into All right, we're gonna move on here now, since we already did the subdivision, Somerset, the summer, trail, we're gonna
You
move on to
don't
the.
want a planning commission report. I've been sitting here.
You've been sitting there freezing yourself.
Oh my
I think they made it colder.
We want, yeah, go ahead and give us
I
a.
turned it from 64 to 74.
You might want to check.
Do you want me to turn it off?
Yeah,
I just turn it off
you may.
since we're all this
You
done.
may. I know you guys have to be chilly out there.
I know, honestly,
I'm okay. It's blowing over top of us, though.
Okay, go ahead and give us your planning report.
There she
It's, I thought it was short. I'm sorry.
Very briefly,
Okay.
we did not have a May meeting.
See there?
because we didn't have any business. But I was then informed that the planning commission needed to make a formal report to the supervisors on the codification process and program. So we had a special meeting last week on June 2nd. Everyone was present, we discussed it, and we voted that we had no further comments.
Judy got to speak.
love it.
Yeah.
I actually read
Good
that.
report. Good report.
Perfect. Wonderful. Judy was so glad you got it.
This is very good.
Thank you.
Anything else for the planning board?
Oh,
Since you took care of the other matter, we don't have any new business for June.
Why would you want to quit the thing?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
Well, thank you, Judy, for coming to give us your planning commission.
You really did have to come.
Spend $10 for the gas.
You can do a call-in.
No, we stopped calling.
Oh.
All right, Wendy, we'll go to you for the Secretary Treasurer report.
I just wanted to acknowledge receipt of this ASA application from a proposal for an addition to the agricultural security area for 130 Orchard Road. I'm working on it with the county. I'm aware of all the processes involved, and I will notify the board by the next meeting where we are on that.
Anything else you have for us?
No.
That's it?
Hers is better than Judy's.
Old business, update on the franchise. I saw your email that you reached out to that woman today.
Well, I've tried to call her, and I'm getting the feeling they don't want a cable franchise contract in Liberty Township. So I sent her an email, and let's see where that leads. Hopefully she'll respond.
Okay.
I can follow up with her as well, just to say that when we've been working with her previously, it would take Jackson and Bostic and me just poking at her
Together.
Yeah, so I'll ask her, if she's talked to you yet, I'll shoot.
Well, give her a couple days, because I just sent an
Sure.
email today.
Yeah,
And-
I'll
and-
follow up in a few days to see if she's
Okay.
gotten anywhere.
Okay. I already gave you the status on the PennDOT signs for Route 16 here. They've been approved and will be installed by the end of the week or the end of next week. I did notify the Harrigan's Christine to let her know that it was approved, and I told her I would send her a bill. A very large bill, since she gave me one too. So, yeah, she said that's fine. They were very, very happy that it got approved. I mean, they were really happy about that. All right, the letter from the property owner regarding the lot addition deed requirements.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yeah, you may comment.
I just wanted to recommend that we do respond to his letter, acknowledging that we received his comments, and that we will place them in his property file in response to our letter.
That's fine. That's what I was going to do. But okay.
Thank you.
So I'll make a motion to do what Wendy asked.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Uh,
All right, thank you, Wendy. All right, now we're going to go on to new business. Any public comment for new business? Okay, move on. Jesus is Mary Lord tax appeal. My thing on this is, this is Adams County and the school district are handling this. I don't know why we need to get involved.
I agree. And as I sent you yesterday, I think Adams County has already filed preliminary objections in opposing their tax appeal.
Right.
So they're on it. Molly Mudd, is that her name?
Yes, yeah.
She's handling it for the county, so I just need you to pass a motion that you do not want your solicitor to get involved. It won't jeopardize, I mean, if they win, we win, if they
Right.
lose, well, we lose,
But I'll make a motion that we let the county and the school district handle this, and we won't do anything on it.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Request for the community media, ARAP funds. This is the people that want us to give them money to go towards their $26,000. What is this? It's that community television. I don't know how many of you watch the community television program on Adams County Community Television. Nobody. Not that I do either, but it's mostly.
We don't have cable out here.
Oh, this is true. We're not
That's
here,
right.
so
Yeah.
that's why. Well, what are you doing? You're late. Like, come on in and have a seat.
He came in to brag about his Mets.
Oh.
Yeah, bums.
Bums, geez,
You're
they're
just raising my hopes to dash him to the ground.
Yeah, for the last minute.
So,
I've seen it all before.
So, so then the Adams County Media wants us to consider giving them a donation of $3,000 to $4,000 to help them offset their community media program in Adams County. Like I said, don't know a lot about it. I do know that they do some broadcasting on Saturday mornings when they do the live talks with the sports. There's Jeff Cook in town is one of the sports commentators around the area, so he does interviews with the local students from different school districts and what they're doing. That's on the media channel. And then they have some other, I don't even know what all programs they have. But I asked the board, what do we think? You guys want to give them any money? You don't want to do nothing on it?
Personally, I think we need to stay focused on what we have in front of us as a township. I'm like you, I don't know of anybody, nor myself included, that has ever said anything about it or watched it or knows anything about it. I mean.
They came in a few years back and gave us a presentation, and that was pretty much it. Patty, you have any comments on that?
Not really, kind of agree.
Like I say, I'll make a motion, we just send them a letter acknowledging that, at this time, our resources won't allow us to contribute to this cost at the moment.
Okay, I'll
I'll second that
All in
motion.
favor? Okay. The insurance bids, as of right now, we did not get, except one bid, from Prima. It's not due until August, I believe, is,
The renewals in September, I would suggest we send it to 6 different insurance companies.
yeah.
And the only insurance company that actually responded, after they all seemed to be interested, was our current insurance company, giving us renewal quote. So,
Well, I did speak, after we spoke today, I did speak to one of the insurance companies, and they sent me an email actually too, to the effect that they didn't quite have enough time to get it done. So I told them that we're not actually taking action on it tonight, we just wanted to try to get it, some bids prior to the deadline,
right,
and that if they could continue to work on it and get us a bid late, we'd like to have it in July,
right.
if we could. So they said they would try to crack the whip and get us a bid.
Okay,
I mean, that was the one that I reached out today. I didn't get the CRS yet. I'll call them
it's
tomorrow.
okay. You can follow up with me and we can make a plan for following up and setting a deadline and getting it ready for the
One of the
next
problems that we're finding out is going on, because one of the companies that we reached out to, Adams County National Bank is buying out the insurance companies in the area. So they bought out the one company that we asked to bid from. So that they said, well, they're not bidding because they just got bought out by Adams County. Russell Status was bought out. Hockley and Donald's been bought out. CRS is not going to. I would just die if they get bought out.
I can't imagine.
I can't imagine Chuck's going to do that.
No.
But then the other group is out of Chambersburg. They're not going to get bought out. But so they asked if they could continue to work on a bid for us and try to get it to us.
I have a couple questions about this.
Yeah.
Does a consideration, a company, a consideration for a bid, do they have to be a member permanent? Is that something that they have?
No, you don't have to be a member of PERMA. And another question I had about that, I don't know if I ever got that question, if they have to be in the state of Pennsylvania.
They do?
I don't know.
Well, they have to be authorized to do business.
Business in
License.
Pennsylvania, yeah, that's different.
Those are licensed.
Yes.
Right, so Wendy, do you have something, email form
Mhm.
that we could send to somebody? I know 2 people that have.
Yes, just like give me their names because we've been sending them out.
We've been
in
sending
emails.
out.
I'll get you some emails.
Sure, that's great. We'll
That's
take care of it.
Yeah, I was thinking we want to get as many bids we can get into, because right now we only have one bid, and it's
And
pretty
it's,
much,
and it's our current company.
yeah, it's a current company. We'd like to really see some other companies bid.
Well, the one thing about insurance is like the price of gas, it's been going up, you know. In most cases for homeowners, you're seeing 10%, and other businesses more, but.
Have you checked with other townships?
Oh, yes, that's where I got our resources from. Yeah, no. We've sent to quite a few, and a lot of the 14, 15, like I said, they all seemed very excited and interested to bid, and they've had the information for 6 or 7 weeks. We didn't give them a 2-week deadline, and the deadline just came and went, and nobody turned anything in. But we had followed up with them every few weeks, reminding them of the deadline, and they still replied as though they were interested. But it was just very strange that nobody replied and said, sorry, I'm not bidding. They just didn't reply at all.
It's like, wow. All right, well, we'll continue to reach out and see what we can get between now and our time to decide what we're gonna do.
Yep.
The last thing I have on this agenda is the firebox. We got a letter from the Adams County Department of Emergency Services. They sent out to us that they were doing some upgrades and changing to the firebox map. And they are just making us aware that these changes are being done. There's nothing that we have to take any action on.
They want us to vote that we will accept the changes.
Well,
We have no control
How
over
do
these
you-
changes.
no, well, we do have control because we designate fireboxes.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Okay.
The thing is, I don't see the changes. I don't.
They're not, Sherry, you looked at that.
Yeah,
They're not changing first calls or anything, they're changing, go ahead, Sherry.
basically what they're changing in there is, like there were some lines on there that ran through properties. So half the property was in, like, the 3 box and half of the property was in the 2 box or something like that. So basically what they got together, the county got together and did with this new dispatch thing that they're getting ready to do from near as I
So they're gonna do parcel-based coverage instead of line.
Right, yeah, so everything's gonna be more boxed,
Right.
not boxed off, but
Right.
the lines are gonna,
Yeah, okay, I see what you're talking about
It's
now.
not
Yeah.
gonna split Mickey's farm in half.
This is true.
That's-
But it doesn't split my farm in half anyhow.
I'm just
Like,
saying.
maybe yours. Because you're, the parts in, Emmitsburg and parts in Fairfield. All right, well, I'll make a motion that we accept the changes as they made them.
Thank you.
I'll second
All in favor?
it. Aye.
Okay. Do we have anything else for, the meeting tonight? Jeez, I told you you were late. 6 o'clock.
I've been having a hell of a time remembering
6
this sort of
o'clock.
stuff.
So guess what I'm gonna do
You know,
next?
last month, I thought Monday was Tuesday, I showed up on Monday. You can't make this stuff up, Robbie. I am Polish.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn.
I appreciate that.
Second.
All in favor?
I don't do the interweb, so I don't know what the hell's going on. Somebody tell me.
Usually that means we, oh, you missed.
Hey, Judy, what you have? Judy, were you rustling feathers?
Were you wrestling with?
Yeah, she has,
Yes, she was, it was
What?
good.
It was good? Give me the.
It was one of the best reports I've ever read.
I got it.
Give me the condensed
Wasted like
version.
an hour and a half for life.
I do.
That's a new
I
one?
think I do.
That's my report
to you.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, okay. Do you have a copy?
Are you quitting?
You don't want one?
Oh, are you gonna quit?
I'm serving till I'm 90.
Oh,
There you go.
Good night, guys.
hey, thanks a lot, John.
Good night,
Hey, I'll talk to Clem.
Keep laughing if you can, John.
Oh, okay. Well, not laughing, I thought mess.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm just expecting what's gonna happen after.
Oh, no, not this year.
Yeah, well.
They're too talented.
Yeah.